watching the Mystical Green Beanie.
Hey, what's going on, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie, and welcome back to another Fully Coolly Progressive review. Today we're talking about episode 3, and right off the bat, I was wrong. My read on the show's first 2 episodes was dead wrong. Now, I wasn't too far off. I was going in the right direction, but I was grasping at the wrong things. But I think I get it now, and if not, well, then I'm wrong. But I'm going to do a full analysis of the entire series once the last episode comes out, but that's like 3 weeks from now, so let's focus on what we already have, and let's talk about episode 3. So the episode starts out with Hidomi having yet another fantasy, which I mistakenly referred to as nightmares in my previous review, but I'll talk more on that later. Anyways, in Hidomi's dream, she's trapped in a barren wasteland and going on about how excited she is about her friends mutilating and eating her, except she has no friends because she rarely interacted with anyone from her school the entire school year. But then the wasteland gets filled with water and all of these bodies attached to baited hooks start rising to the surface towards a giant hand, which crushes them. And this causes Hidomi's head to swell with excitement and explode once she touches the surface of the water, and then she wakes up. Later that day, she goes to the beach with Ide and his friends alongside Jinyu and Haruko, and from there, the episode consists of the group having a nice day on the beach. One of Ide's friends, the fat one, whose name I can't remember, I think his name is Mori. Mori hires a pretend girlfriend to be his date, which is really sad. But everything kind of goes to crap when Haruko buries Jinyu in concrete and kidnaps Hidomi to cause her to overflow. And in that scene, we see Nurse Haruko again, which kind of surprised me, even though it really shouldn't have. But in the words of our immortal leader,
a surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
But before Haruko can continue, Ide shows up and tries to save Hidomi, but when he sees her tied up and bound and gagged with her clothes peeled off in her bathing suit, he's the one who ends up overflowing, and a giant gas robot pops out of his forehead, who he commands to rescue Haruko, and from there, Haruko fights Ide's giant boner bot. But in the mayhem, Ide and Hidomi collide, with Hidomi's face coming into contact with Ide's bare chest, which causes her to overflow, and her headphones start acting up, and like I said, I had the right idea with the whole headphones thing, but I was coming to the wrong conclusion. Anyways, once she overflows, she starts to form a giant metal cocoon around herself, and according to Jinyu, Ide is the only one who can save her. And once Ide is in just the right position, he smashes Hidomi and she opens up to him. Because if there's one thing the show is known for, it's subtlety. But once Ide frees Hidomi, Haruko tricks Ide into trying to take off her headphones, which causes her to go into full lockdown mode, and her headphones are now screwed into her skull. Which is really interesting, but once again, more on that later. We also see Commander Amaro return, who is in contact with the guy with the eye patch, who calls himself Eye Patch. And that leads me to believe that in the last episode when Eye Patch approaches Marco, he's offering him to join with the Bureau of Interstellar Immigration. Also, Mori's fake runner waifu might actually turn out to be Amaro's daughter, so that's pretty intriguing. But that was the episode plot. There's a lot of really cool stuff to digest here. First and foremost, the fantasies that Hidomi are having are really interesting in regards to her characterization, because it seems like she's a sadomasochist, or at the very least, deep down she has sadomasochistic impulses and desires. But she's afraid of them. Or maybe she's ashamed. Regardless, I think it's really fascinating how in her dreams, she's this enthusiastic bolt of energy who's excited to be torn apart and injured by her friends, but in the real world, she's stoic and lifeless. The show is really playing up a Freudian allegory here, with her unconscious mind running free with her desires and impulses, but once she wakes up, she starts to suppress those feelings for whatever reason. Because in the show, to overflow is a metaphor for getting turned on, and what turns on Hidomi is watching others get hurt or getting hurt herself. But she also apparently has a thing for Ide, because in the last episode, she starts to overflow when she watches him go through his physically demanding job at the factory, and when he gets yanked around on a dog leash by Haruko. And I really like the shutdown metaphor with the headphones. They're like a security blanket for her or something. And once Haruko manipulates Ide into trying to take them off of her by force when she opens up to him, she goes into full shutdown mode. and I'm really fascinated to see where that goes, because Haruko mentions to Jinyu that medical mechanica is now a top priority of theirs. All in all, I had a really great time watching this episode. However, I will say that it's somewhat odd having this episode end on a cliffhanger like it does. To my recollection, the previous season never did that. All the episodes were self-contained stories that had an overarching plot, but this is following a very different pacing style. But besides that, the action was great, the voice acting was on point, as always, the music by the Pillows was flawless by default of them being the Pillows, and again, I can't believe that the obvious, less than subtle sex metaphor went right over my head, but watching the first 3 episodes back to back to back really made it click for me. Which, by the way, for all of those people who asked me to cover Gerard Way's Doom Patrol when it was coming out, this is why I didn't do that. Because with material like this, I prefer to look at everything once it's wrapped up, and I can look at it all in one sitting. That way I don't end up making myself look like a complete dumbass, like I did in the last Fully Cooley review. But I will admit, it's pretty fun to walk through this material and unpack it episode to episode with you guys. Plus, unlike Doom Patrol, this is a 6-episode weekly affair as opposed to a monthly one. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. But what about you? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know down below in the comments section. Also, if you liked this video, hit the like button, share, support the channel, and if you want to see more content like this, all you have to do is subscribe. I'm the Mystical Green Beanie. Thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, adios nachos, adios.